Hello everyone, this is going to be a follow-up video to another video here on YouTube talking about the Airfoil Labs C172 and a lot of the flaws that are with it. His video will be in the description below. The reason I'm making another video is because I feel that this topic is very, it's not very known. Many videos on the Airfoil Labs show a lot of the positives and picture this plane as a very good plane for X-plane, which in some ways it is, but there are some minor things that ruin the entire experience, and the only other video I've seen noting these issues is the one that I've mentioned. So I'm just trying to make this more popular so more people can see the issue of this plane and maybe think twice about buying it, because right now I'm gonna get the reality expansion pack for the default 172, as this plane has completely disappointed me, as I was looking really forward to having a realistic experience. So in this video, I'm just going to go normally through like a normal flight from right here cold and dark all the way to coming back to the ramp and shutting down. And on the way, we'll see the issues at hand, and I'll try to point them out as we go. I'm currently at the Columbia Airport with about 6 knot wind, normal temperatures, nothing crazy. I can actually check and see what the temperature is. It's 39 degrees, so it's a little hot. I take that back. It is a little hot, but nothing that should impact the performance badly. So if something does happen, it's on Airfoil Labs' fault. And again, clear skies, everything else is great. So we're just gonna do about 1 or 2 patterns, probably 2 touch and goes. And on the way, I'll point out everything that I don't like about the airplane. Of course, I'll also point out the things that I like. And again, the goal is to try to make Airfoil Labs realize these issues and fix it. I am on the latest version, 1.9 I believe it is. I don't think they have a new version, so I should be on the newest version. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So first things first, let's go through my settings real quick so you guys can see what I have here. Let's start off with the weight and fuel. Here's the weights I have. So it's just me as the pilot, about 160 pounds. I have no passengers on board. I have that much baggage, and I have 2 full tanks of gas. As you can see, all the weights are within limits, so that's all good. Next, in the maintenance, as you can see here, everything is green. Before I started recording, I clicked everything to repair them, even though they're already green. So I know everything is perfect on the airplane right now. My settings, here they are. As you can see, nothing really interesting, just normal settings. So let's go ahead and get started. First, I use the num keys for views in X-plane. I also use the shift keys for views in X-plane. There's an issue with the views, and you'll see that in a second. I think it might be because Airfoil Labs has their own camera system. That might be the issue, but we'll see. So let's go ahead and hop in the airplane here and get started. The way I do that normally is by hitting numpad 2, that's my key, and it does this. This is, as you can see, this is the view I have set, not what it had before. So let me try doing it their way. Let me go here and go to camera and hit pilot. Okay, so see, that's what it is. It's X-plane default interfering with Airfoil Labs camera system. That needs to be fixed, because when I go to the inside, numpad 2, it goes to their default view. So that would be great if that could be fixed, preferably. So once we're in the airplane, let's get rid of the control lock. We'll go ahead and oh yeah, one thing I really like about the Airfoil Labs is how everything stays the same you left it. So like, as you can see, these 2 lights were on because I left them on the last time I flew. That's really cool. I really like that a lot. So all the circuit breakers are in. The avionics are off. We'll go and turn the master switch on, get the flaps down. We'll check the fuel in our tanks. As you can see, we have full fuel. And as soon as those flaps come down, we're gonna shut the master switch off and go do the walk around. We'll also make sure this is in. This is on both. Very good. So let's go ahead and go do the walk around. This is probably the the greatest.
The exterior manipulation mode is now active.
This is probably the single biggest thing to like about the Airfoil Labs and the Reality Expansion Pack is being able to do your walk around. So let's just do a normal walk around. Again, so far, in the list of bad things with this airplane so far is just the camera. That has been the first bad part. We'll see if there's any more along the way. I have, of course, mentioned the positives as well. So we're gonna move this. Looks good. You got full motion. Let's go over here. Check the flaps, make sure they're nice and sturdy, which they are. You'd be checking for any bumps around here or any dents, any scratches, anything terrible. And it's all good. We'll check the left elevator. Full range of motion, very good. We'll check the rudder. Nice, full scale of motion. Again, the right elevator. Very good, very good. Okay. Again, continuing on to this side, everything looks good. Let's go a little closer. Alright, let's do... That looks good. And the right aileron looks good as well. Cool. Alright, next let's go check the fuel level up here. So we're going to pop this guy open. And we would normally put our dipstick in here, and it shows full. Very good. Put the cap back on. Get off.
The exterior manipulation mode is now active.
Alright, let's go walk around to the other side of the plane. And actually, before we do that, since we're on this side, let's check the oil levels on this side, my bad. Alright, let's go check that out. Oh. I didn't want to move the prop, but that's... Oh, shit. I didn't know it does that. Interesting. Okay, how do I put that back on? Interesting, okay. That's something I never knew about the plane. That's pretty cool. But yeah, here's our oil level. That looks good. Okay. Cool. So the oil level's good. Let's check the other side of the fuel tank. I didn't know the cap of the engine could come off like that. That's pretty cool. And full gas as we expected. Very good. Okay. And let's see if they simulate
the exterior manipulation mode
let's
is
see
now
if they
active.
simulate fuel draining here to check the any air or any quality in the fuel. Yeah, they do. We were looking for a blue color and no air bubbles. That would mean there's water in there. And the blue color is nice and consistent. Cool. Looks good. Alright. So that's the walk around feature. So, anything bad there? No. I like it. It's good. So far, so good. Again, the camera is the only thing so far. So let's go ahead and hop back in. We'll go ahead and shut the door. Open the window. Fuel selector is on both. Fuel shutoff valve is on. We're going to go ahead and crack the throttle. We're going to turn on the master switch. The beacon light is on. We're going to turn on the fuel pump. And we're going to move the mixture in. We get that jump. Mixture out.
Primed.
Fuel pump off. Prop area clear. And to start, we'll turn the mags to start. And as soon as the engine catches, we'll go ahead and bring the mixture in.
The engine needs more prime.
Alright, cool. So that's a good start. We'll bring the throttle back to about 1,000 RPM. Looks good. Oil pressure in the green. Avionics coming on. Let's go ahead and lean the mixture a little bit. And everything's booting up. So, with that start, I think their prompts are a little too quick. Actually, I think you can turn off the thing. Like in the settings, there's a place that says turn off hints or help messages. I'm going to turn that off because the guy keeps talking shit for no reason. The engine seems ideally primed. I only had the fuel pump on for like a second, so, you know, those things can get pretty annoying, but of course you can turn those off. So, another thing I like about the start, the instruments look fantastic. This thing moves around. The RPM has like kind of like that jaggedy kind of motion that's really cool and realistic. So far everything there is nice. The avionics look fine. You have a Garmin 430 in this thing, and it has autopilot as well. Everything there is fine as well. So, another camera-related issue. Listen closely. I don't know how well you're going to hear this in the recording, but I'm going to go to the outside view. it looked... Okay, so normally there's like this delay when you go to the outside view. Maybe it'll happen later, but so far that was good. Okay. Sorry. So it happens when you go from the outside to the inside. Listen closely again, because I don't know what happened there. Something beeped the autopilot, I think. Watch this. We're in the outside view. Here's the sound. We're going to go inside. The camera is going to do its bug, where it's going to go forward, and then the sound is going to bug. It's going to be very loud, and then it's going to go quiet again. So listen closely. That's not the type of quality I want. Let's see if the same thing happens with their camera view. The same thing happens. It does that weird ass sound. Or it's not weird. It's a loud sound, and then it goes back to normal. So that definitely needs to be fixed. Okay, so right now we're gonna go ahead and release. Or let's bring those flaps up. We're gonna release the parking brake. Roll forward, test the brakes, those look good. And let's go ahead and taxi to the active, runway 17 in favor with the winds. So we're going to head out there and do the run-up. I'm also going to get the altimeter here in just a second and set all the instruments and whatnot, because this is not aligned at the moment. Taxiing on the ground seems fine to me. Let me check that turn coordinator. It looked like it kind of went off. I think I'll make a quick 360 turn over here. Oh, it looks fine. Maybe it'll... Alright, yeah, that's fine right now. It looked like it was kind of like going off the end there, which I don't think is realistic. So yeah, again, taxiing on the ground. Everything seems fine. Hit the brakes. Max normally. I don't see anything wrong with that. Cool. I like this airport a lot. It's Oscar 22. It's a really nice scenic airport for sure. Very beautiful. Not high elevation. So that's why I chose it. It's nice and beautiful for a video, and it also is not too high. It's only 2,100 feet. So we're gonna head to the active right now, do the run up. So I don't know why by default. It's not a big deal, but by default it swaps 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know why I wouldn't just swap 1,200 by default. And you know what? Compared to the other issues, it's not really a big deal. It looks like we're taxing a little uphill. Sorry, it looks like we're taxing a little uphill right now, so I'm gonna have a little more throttle in there. Just gonna get to the end. So yeah, I've never had the reality expansion pack before, so I'm curious to see how that's gonna be. If it's gonna be, I'm sure it's gonna be a much better experience. I'm sure it's gonna be great. If Airfoil Labs doesn't fix their shit, then you know, that's really gonna be the best 172 on the market, and I think it's gonna be good. I'll be sure to check it out I'll be sure to test everything out when I get it, of course. So I believe it's runway 17. I can't really tell, but I think that's what it is. Let me get the altimeter here. The altimeter for Columbia right now is 2990. Let's go ahead and put that in. 2990. Alright, the airport elevation is actually around almost 22 feet, 21. Alright. So we're almost there. Sounds in general are very good. Like right now as I'm taxiing, the sounds are awesome. Like the startup sound, the battery sound, the primer sound, the everything sound. It sounds great. It sounds fantastic. Sorry, it's a fuel pump in this airplane, not the primer. That's in the car view ones. But yeah, sounds are great. Look, see, there you go. That ball just completely left the chat. Like it just went all the way there. All right. Parking brake sounds great, so let's go ahead and do the run up now. So we're going to bring the mixture to best power. Since we're below 3,000 feet, it's going to be full rich. No crazy density altitudes. We'll bring the power up to about 1,800 RPM. No need to be exact, right around there is good. We're going to check the engine instruments. That's green, 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 green. We have fuel instruments here are all good except for this one. We'll set it momentarily. Let's check the mags. To the left, we get that drop. Back to both. right mag. Again, that drop. Back to both. Okay. Right, let's set the trim for takeoff. This is going to be a big deal. We'll talk about this in a second. And let's bring that power back to idle to do the idle check. And it's ready. So we'll go power back to 1,000. We'll lean the mixture for now since we're not going to depart right away. Let's go ahead and set this. We're on the track of 277 right now, so we're going to go ahead and put 277 in this. Here's 280. We're going to go 1, 2, 3 to the left, and that would give you 277. These lights right here, they work, and we have no enunciators. Temperature looks good. Put it in Fahrenheit, so better. Alright, so the trim was the major point discussion here. Right now it is set for takeoff. Usually it's just below the line. That's usually where you want to put it when you take off. But again, basically on the on the takeoff line. When you go full power and you take off, alright, you pitch for about usually 77 knots, something like that. Depends on the airplane. I'll be shooting for 80 just because I can. But, sorry, so in a normal situation, in a good plane, I'm going to give an example. Like, I love the Just Flight Cessna 152. The Just Flight Cessna 152, definitely go get it. Great purchase. If they added like a walk-around mode, it would literally be golden. Love that airplane. It's so realistic. I love it a lot. So normally what happens is you're full power, you're pitching for 80. If you were to release the yoke, it should just continue climbing on that trajectory. Maybe a little bit up, maybe a little bit down, but it should not change too much. It should just stay in the pitch you left it. We're going to see what happens momentarily when we take off. So anyway, everything is set. Landing lights, strobe lights, everything here looks good. Alright, make sure to rich. Everything looks good. Let's go ahead and taxi in for takeoff. Let's just do left close traffic. It seems better. And no flaps for a normal takeoff. We got plenty of runway. The wind is in our favor as well. Alright, so let's see if there's any sound problems with rolling up to full power. Because I remember there used to be, like, you go, so what I think is going to happen is when we go full power, it's going to be that really loud sound. Like when you go from the outside to the inside, it's going to be that very loud sound, and then it's going to go back to normal. So let's see if that happens. Heels down to the floor, full power. Yep, that's exactly what it did. It's exactly what it did. Alright. P factor seems realistic. I'm applying lots of red rudder right now. Airspeed is allowed. It's around 55, rotate. Ooh, I'm giving it a lot of back pressure right now on the yoke to lift off the ground. That's not a good sign. Let's pitch for, I'm just going to release the yoke. Whoa! That is not what it's supposed to do. Let's give it some back trim. I gave it some back trim, it's still going down. More back trim. It's still going down. More back trim. That is what a normal climb looks like. Let's see what our trim looks like. Holy, look how much trim that is. That's a lot of trim for a normal takeoff. You guys saw my weights too. Like, that would be completely reasonable. That is way too much trim for a normal takeoff. Way too much trim. Shouldn't be like that. This in a normal airplane would have you flying like this right now. Like, that is not what you want. Not even a single bit. So that trim definitely needs to be resolved. Let's use caution here because we got some mountains in this area. The temperature seems normal. I know the video I was watching with the other guy, he was having temperature issues at full power. I've actually haven't been experiencing that for a while, so that's good. But anyway, yeah, so that trim is a very vital issue. So far the big issues are the camera, the sound, and the trim. Those are the three big issues right now. We're approaching around 1,000 feet AGL. Let's go ahead and bring that power back to around 2,100. Level off, a little bit of forward trim. Again, you need to input so much trim. It is so delayed. Not delayed. It's just you need to apply way more trim than you would need to. it almost becomes like a primary flight control. But with excluding the trim, the flight dynamics are really good. Doing stalls, steep turns, anything else, that's all good. Like, it flies really nice, just that trim ruins it. Again, the airplane overall is very good, but the trim just completely ruins it. Or, not even the trim. The trim and the other minor issues just ruin this airplane. Alright, so we're beating the numbers. Let's bring that power back to around 1700. Let's get into the white arc here. A bit of back pressure to get into that white arc. Alright, we're in the white arc. Flaps 10. And I'll give myself a little bit of a longer final here to demonstrate some stuff. So, the nose goes up. That's normal. No need to put forward trim right now. There's no need. Everything's fine. I'm going to turn base. Let's give it 20 degrees of flaps. Again, so far so good. I'm going to give it a little bit of down trim. Let's see if that makes a difference. Nope. If this were a normal airplane, that would be more than enough input. Excuse my shitty pattern, by the way. I'm a little high. Alright, full flaps. Again, I'm adding a little bit of trim and the nose is not going down. That is not realistic. And, excuse that, I'm way too high. So let's go ahead and go around and try that again. Excuse that shitty pattern. Let's bring a notch of flaps. That's actually a perfect demonstrator to go around here. That's normal. We're climbing. Airspeed's climbing. Another notch of flaps up. Everything looks good. Clean it up. Let's give it a little bit of back trim. I gave it like a good 5 clicks on my key here. Let it go? Nope. Again, other airplanes, you only need a little bit of trim to make the plane do what you want. And it works out perfectly. So, you know, the trim is a big issue. Alright, let's go ahead and turn crosswind. Again, sorry I couldn't land there. That's a very shitty pattern. We're going to do a good one this time to demonstrate a landing. There's around 3,100. That's about 1,000 feet AGL. Let's bring that power back to around 2,100. Level off. It levels off pretty nicely. It's nicely trimmed out. It's unrealistically trimmed because you wouldn't have it all the way back here, but nonetheless, it is trimmed out. Not to make excuses, but I think I was making a shitty pattern because I was talking too much. But I know. No excuses. I was being a shitty pilot. Again, right now everything is working great. Like, no problems whatsoever. It's the minor things that kill this airplane for sure. Alright, we're beating the numbers. Let's bring that power back. And let's go into the white arc. 10 degrees of flaps. Cool. Let's go ahead and descend a little faster. Give it a little bit of forward trim. Again, way more than I would normally need to give. Let's go ahead and turn base. Let's give a little bit of power. Not too much. Right around there. Let's give it 20 degrees of flaps. More forward trim. Let's turn final. Let's give it full flaps. Bring that power back. Then you really gotta. There's the best way to describe the trim in this airplane is extremes. You either need almost full back trim, like oh my god, I'm literally holding the button right now. You either need full back trim or full forward trim to make this airplane feel normal, which is completely unrealistic. Normal is usually right in the middle. And actually, I'm going to do a stop and go just so I can demonstrate where my trim actually is right now. Just going to keep the power idle throughout the whole thing. Over the numbers. Let's give it a flare. A bit of a float. Okay. And let's come to a full stop. Let's bring that Go back to the domes. Shimmy the nose wheel. Let's come to a full stop here. We're going to do a stop. Alright. Let's look at my trim. Is that what trim is supposed to look like on landing? Absolutely not. This trim needs to be fixed. Like the threshold of where this trim exists needs to be fixed. Like, move this point up here, basically. Like, make the trim normal. So, that was our first thing. Let's go for one more. Let's do it for one more pattern. I'm going to leave the trim where I left it, because generally the trim you land with also works for takeoff. So, I'm just going to leave the trim where I left it. See how this goes. Judging by our last takeoff, it's probably not going to go very well. Rotate. Wow, look how much back pressure I'm adding right now. Do I even dare let go of this yoke? Yes. Whoa! Yeah, see, that is not proper. That is not how an airplane is supposed to act. Not even a single bit. Now I have to hold the trim back for 5 hours to get it where I need to. Just completely forward or completely back. That's how this airplane rolls, and that's not the way it's supposed to work at all. I sent in a ticket to Just Flight explaining not Just Flight, sorry. I sent a ticket into Airfoil Labs explaining these issues, and they never got back to me. They didn't get back to the other person either, so just completely terrible. And the fact that I only found his video explaining the problems is bad. That's what's making me make this video. To spread the word and to make sure people don't buy a broken airplane. Get the reality expansion pack, or get the Just Flight Cessna 152 if you're looking for a really good general aviation aircraft, the next plane. I love the Just Flight Cessna 152. It is so nice. If they just added a walk around, it would literally be even better. It is a very nice airplane, flies very realistically, highly recommend. Alright, so we're going to make this one a full stop. And taxi back to the ramp. And shut it down. But yeah, as you saw, just those are the problems with the airplane. Those need to be fixed. Let's actually go to the outside view real quick as well. Alright, so that all seems normal. Nothing wrong right now. Let's go back to the inside. See? It does that loud ass sound and then that. So yeah. Broken camera, broken sounds. The sounds are good, but sometimes they break. So don't get those too confused. Alright. There's a numbers, power back. Let's go for a bit of a longer final here. Flaps 10. Let's turn the base over this thing. Yeah, my traffic patterns weren't very good today. I apologize for that. People like to see good patterns. The patterns were not good or bad. I like this view. This is nice, like over the nose. It's very nice. Alright, let's bring in flaps full. Gotta bring the trim all the way forward. All the way forward. Look at that. Look at that. I'm literally, to give you context, I'm holding the button the whole time for down trim. And the nose still pops up. That's not how it works at all. Alright. Let's put a little bit of power here. Until that's 60 knots. A little bit of my trim. And chop the power. Nice. Center line and smoothness. Pretty nice. Cool. We're going to take the next exit. Whenever that is. Right over here. Nope. That was my fault. I hit the left brake too much. Again, those brake sounds? Nice. I dig. Alright, let's exit off to the left. Alright, cool. Let's power back to around 1,000. Let's go ahead and lean that mixture and bring those flaps up. I'm going to turn off these two lights. Well, let's taxi it back into parking here. Let's go this way. So yeah, it's those small things that really make this airplane not fun. It's a very nice airplane. I just wish that those things would be fixed. Right around here looks golden, so go and set the parking brake, turn off the avionics, power idle, fixture cutoff, cool, mags off, master switch off. Alright, control lock on, let's get out.
The exterior manipulation mode is now active.
Let's see if I remember how to do the tie downs here. I believe you click. Yes. Oh, no, I want to chalk. Okay. Nope, my mouse doesn't seem to want to work. Okay. Chalk. Tie down. Okay. Cool. Okay. So, what did we find out after today's flight? Well, the positives of the airplane. Let's start off with those. The positives of the airplane. It has amazing features like walking around and checking stuff and doing all that fun, like realistic stuff. It has amazing sounds, like when you flip on the master switch, like it has a really nice kind of winding up sound. The fuel pump sounds amazing. The startup, the engine sounds, like when I was coming into land, when I was flaring, like it does like that kind of like that's a really nice sound as well. Just the sounds are realistic, great. The flight controls, aside from the trim, are fantastic. It's realistic. If you were to go stall this thing, spin this thing, steep turn it, you name it, it does it realistically. So that's a plus as well. Let's see. I mean, basically everything else flight sim related, positive. Now the negatives, which are pretty minor, but they really impact your experience and make me not want to fly this plane. Number one is the trim. The trim is terrible, as we saw. You either need full forward trim or full back trim. If you wanted to take off normally, not like we did where I was releasing the yoke in our nose. Sorry about that, I got a phone call. So as I was saying, if we were to do a normal takeoff where the nose doesn't just fall forward, you would need to have the trim like basically all the way back like I showed you, which is completely unrealistic. And the trim has like no power. Like you only need to tap the trim a couple times. In the real world, slide it a couple times. In the sim, I use the bracket keys, which are the default keys, I believe. Just a couple taps of the bracket key, and your trim should be set, just like that. In this plane, you need to hold it for a long time to have any effect. So that needs to be fixed right away. That's like a big issue. Next is the sound and the camera. I'm going to put these together. Changing the camera, like it goes like this is Airfoil Labs and X-Plane defaults kind of like crashing with each other, but please fix that. Don't make my guy go forward and then I have to press my key twice. Please fix that. And then the sound when you're changing from the outside to the inside view, like you hear like the normal outside sound, a normal volume. You go in, the sound becomes louder, and then a second later it goes back to the normal. That needs to be fixed. Another thing sounded like you saw when I was going full power on takeoff, again that really loud sound, and then it goes back to normal. So that needs to be fixed as well. So those are, again, minor issues, but they really, really destroyed the feeling of the airplane. So Airfoil Labs, please fix this. Other people, if you have these issues, please make yourself known. There's not enough videos on YouTube talking about the issues of this airplane, so definitely make it known. Thanks for watching. I hope this airplane gets fixed.